This behind me is a 2019 Chevrolet Sonic. Now this is an LT model, it's an RS edition, so we'll go through some of that. But this is going to be our compact car now that they discontinued the Chevy Cruze. All Chevy Sonics you can get in either a sedan, like this one here, or you can get in a hatchback, which I do not have a hatchback in stock at the moment to show you. It's a little shorter than this, and it has your typical just flat back with a hatch. I'll put a picture so you can see what I'm talking about. All of the Chevrolet Sonics, whether it be an LS, an LT, or a Premier model, are going to come with a 1.4 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It produces 138 horsepower and 148 foot-pounds of torque. It's linked up standard with a manual transmission on any model trim, and you can add the automatic to any model trim. Now, if you go with the LS model, it's basically the standard equipment model. So the only thing you could really add is the automatic transmission. If you go up to an LT, you're automatically going to get power windows, cruise control, XM Sirius satellite radio, and a nice set of aluminum wheels. You could also, on the LT, add a couple of different packages. This particular one we're looking at does have those packages. One is a convenience package. It's going to give you the compass. It gives you a driver power seat, heated seats for front, driver, and passenger. And it gives you the keyless open and access. So you have the little buttons on the door handles where you can press to get in, and then you have a push button start. With that, it also gives you remote start, where you can remote start from your key from about 200 feet away. You could also use the Chevrolet app with a subscription, which is called My Chevrolet. The next package you can add is a confidence package, which gives you a front camera. It's inside this little trapezoid up here. And what that camera can do is it can see the lane lines on the road, and it'll give you an alert if you leave your lane lines. It's also a forward collision alert, so if it senses that you're approaching something at a rate of speed and thinks you're not going to stop in time, it can give you an alert for that as well. And these are just alerts. They do not interact in any way. And then the last thing would be on the rear bumper, you have the park sensors, which gives you proximity for rear parking. The last package we added to this model is the RS package, which really gives it the sporty look that it has. It's the body kit, the side rocker moldings, it has the rear deck lid spoiler, the front fog lamps. It even upgrades you to a leather wrapped steering wheel and gives you some RS carpeted floor mats. Let's go for a quick ride and see what we think. We're going to use our remote here. We're going to press lock, hold the start key for about 3 seconds. It's going to remote start the car. This way we can get it going, cooled off, warmed up, whatever you may want it, depending on the weather. Again, when you walk up, you have a button here on the door handle. Press that button to unlock. If you press it once, it opens just the driver's door. If you press it twice, it opens all the doors. And then right here, we have our push button, start the vehicle, and we're good to go. There's a small little compartment up front here. It's a nice spot to put the key. You have a couple of cup holders down here, and you have another cup holder in the back. This is actually a nice spot to put the cell phone. You'll notice there is no console here with storage. You know, the car is a little narrower. They do give you an armrest for the driver, and then you have a dual glove box set up here, lower and upper for storage. Again, this is the LT model, so this is a cloth interior. If you go to a Premier, you would get leatherette. You'll see a radio screen. It's all touch. You know, if you want audio, you press audio, brings you to your radio. You have a home button here on the bottom left. Phone is for Bluetooth. You can go through all different settings. Of course, you have your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and your Wi-Fi settings. So a very easy system to use. You have some redundant controls here on the steering wheel for volume. Your presets, you can go up and down. If you press it in, it's your source. And of course, you have your Bluetooth. As we go to the left side here, we have cruise control and our forward collision alert. Down on the bottom, this is your lane departure warning, and those icons or symbols that you see on those buttons would appear here, basically as the camera sees the items, whether it be the lane lines or a vehicle in front of you. In this vehicle, we have the 6-speed automatic. We're just going to go down to drive. If you go to manual or M, you do have a plus and minus on the side of the shifter here, where you can shift through the gears yourself. But for this drive, we're just going to do it in normal drive. Now the RS does have a sportier leather wrapped steering wheel. It's kind of a flat bottom wheel, which is pretty cool. If you look on this section here, gives you that Camaro or that Corvette feel. You're all clear. All right, so normal test drive that I take on all my videos. We're gonna go around the bumpy road, hit a little bit of highway. Like I said earlier, based on the fact that we no longer have the Chevy Cruze, this is gonna be our compact car that Chevrolet is gonna be offering, unless they come out with something different. It does ride nice. What I always liked about the Sonic is that it is a lower priced vehicle. This one we're in is a little over $21,000, and it feels more substantial going down the road. You know, it's very quiet. It feels solid. It doesn't feel cheap. Now it is the 1.4 liter, 138 horsepower. This is the same engine that was in the Cruze for years. I had a 2011 Cruze. I also had a 2014 Cruze. I can tell you from experience, the car has plenty of power. The turbo's great. You kind of hit your peak torque at very low RPM. I think it's 1250, if I remember correctly. So the car, you know, it gets up and goes quick for merging in or accelerating off a green light. It also, because it's a smaller engine, gets very good fuel economy. This car has an average of about 29, that being mid-20s around town, mid-30s on the highway. While we're at our red light here, let me just show you. Before I had a real bad glare, so I couldn't really see the screen. Looks like I still have a bad glare. This is your information center. So you have a big speedometer, tachometer, your fuel gauge is on the left. You can see we have one little brick left. But if I cycle through these different modes where the digital speedometer is, one of them is going to show us that we have 35 miles worth of driving left. It also goes through your instant fuel economy, your average speed, or your average fuel economy, then your average speed, and a speedometer. If you press the menu button, it brings you to vehicle info. This would be your oil life, your tire pressures in each tire. Units you can change from US to metric and back to oil life. We're going to watch the speedometer as we drive. The tire pressure monitoring is going to show you each tire. Now, if you pick up a nail or something like that on the road and you start losing pressure, it's going to come up automatically. So what I always tell people is if you're watching that screen and it doesn't tell you anything, pretty much everything's probably okay. You know, because it'll tell you if you're overheating, it'll tell you if the tire pressure, it'll tell you when you need an oil change. You know, it'll give you all those pieces of information as needed. We talked earlier about the confidence package. There's the green car on the screen. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. That is basically saying that the camera does in fact see that bus. It also sees our lane lines, which is at the end there. It's also lit up. I'm gonna see if I can get it to happen. No brake, no brake, no brake. There it is. There's the warning. We're on the highway right now. We're doing 45, just hitting 50 miles an hour. You know, what's great about this car is, you know, you're not going to win races with these cars. You know, they're compact cars. They're made for fuel economy. However, when you just drive the vehicle normally, like 80%, 90% of the population will, including myself, you never feel like you don't have enough power. You know, it's when you want to try to really get on the throttle and see what the car can do, where I can compare it to like Corvettes and Camaros and think, yeah, those cars have a lot more power. But for everyday driving, I mean, this car accelerates great, it handles great. I've never really had too much experience in snow with this. However, I have in the Chevy Cruze and also the Chevy Volt. Both of them handle fantastic. This is a front-wheel drive vehicle as well. It does have StabiliTrak, which is a system that can monitor you know, the different axes the vehicle's on and compare it to what you're doing with the brake, gas, and steering wheel. So what happens is if you go into a turn and you start to skid a certain way, the computer can intervene and apply brake pressure to certain wheels at certain times to help you go the way you're pointing the steering wheel. It also has traction assist, which would limit wheel spin. You know, so everything you really need to handle the inclement weather, this car does have. Just to repeat myself, like I said earlier, I'm driving down the highway now, I'm at 55 miles an hour. The car feels more substantial than you would think. You know, when you look at a small car like this, if you don't have experience with it, you know, my feel, and even a lot of competitors, you know, the cars are noisier, they're a little, you know, they kind of float around the road a little bit, whereas this is very precise. You know, as you steer, it's immediate reaction to any input you put in, and like it stays very level in turns. It feels like you have nothing but control, you know, for whatever you're asking the car to do. Do a little acceleration test here. You can definitely hear that engine running. A little bit of torque steer, which is actually pretty cool actually, because it's only 138 horsepower. For it to have a little bit of torque steer, you know, just shows that it's got good pickup, it's got good power at low end. I sort of felt it when I was between like 25-30 miles an hour. Beyond that, it was perfectly fine. You're hitting that peak torque at a very low RPM, which is what you want. You know, you don't want to have to rev the engine out to 4,000 or 5,000 RPMs to get moving. You want to hit the gas. Like if you have to get out of the way of somebody, you want to get moving, you want to make sure you have that torque immediate. That's what that turbo is doing in this car. While I'm at the light here, today is April 17th. Tomorrow is Thursday the 18th. It's dealer day at the New York City Auto Show, and I think like it's a press day. So I will be there tomorrow. If you're interested in seeing what the New York Auto Show is all about, definitely subscribe to the channel and keep an eye out for that. I'm gonna try to have this video up tonight. I'm gonna go to the auto show tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, go right home after that and try to edit and put all the videos up that I take tomorrow at the auto show by tomorrow. I'm really interested in going to the car show. I'm looking forward to it. I wanna check out some of the competition, you know, that we have. And some of the main competitors, we sell a lot of SUVs, so like the Kia Telluride, the Volkswagen Atlas, like these are some of the vehicles I want to check out when I go there. Also the Kia Kona EV I want to check out. That beeping you just heard was our fuel warning. So as you can see on the driver information center there, fuel level low. Now I knew the fuel level was low, however I knew we had about 30 miles worth of driving, so we'll have no problem getting back. The Chevrolet Sonic, just like all Chevrolets, do come with a 3-year, 36,000-mile limited bumper-to-bumper warranty, a 5-year, 60,000 limited powertrain warranty. You get your first complimentary service visit, which is an oil change, tire rotation, and a 27-point inspection. And you get free trials of both satellite radio and OnStar. Just in time for the green light. It's funny when you're on the road here, you always got to watch because sometimes people in this lane turn right into the right lane. Everybody I've been test driving with seems to be on their guard when that happens, so I also always mention that. You know, it's one of those things you got to say, listen, both lanes turn left, so be careful. That about does it for our test drive. If you have any questions about the Sonic, or any Chevrolet for that matter, please put them in the comments below. I'll answer every single one of them. Thank you for coming along on a ride on this beautiful day in northern New Jersey. I am at Schumacher Chevrolet of Livingston. We actually have 5 locations. Livingston is the one that I'm at, and I've been here since 2005. If you're in the area of North Jersey and you need a vehicle, listen, stop by, ask for Dave B. I'd be happy to help.